KNAC.com, the loudest.com on the planet. It is day whatever the hell, a quarantine, self isolation, and I'm here with David Sanchez of Havok. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, good as I can, given the situation.
Yeah, it's a tough situation, man. How are you keeping ahead of this?
Just trying to, not get sick, not get other people
Yeah.
sick. We're supposed to start tour today, but obviously all that stuff got canceled.
Oh man, yeah. You guys we're gonna go overseas or something?
We were supposed to be going out with Hatebreed today.
Hatebreed, nice. Was that gonna be like an American tour or was that gonna be overseas?
Yeah, that was gonna be U.S.
Oh man, that would have been a great show. You had other shows going on too, like overseas, right? Like, do you know if those are going to be still going on, or
It,
have you got any word about those?
we had stuff canceled, scheduled for July and August in Europe, and that stuff's all canceled as well. So pretty
Oh
much all
wow,
of our
man.
touring plans for the year have been screwed up from this virus, and we don't know when we're going to be able to get on tour again.
Oh, that
But
has to be a brutal feeling, man.
on the bright side, our new record came out today.
Yeah, let's talk about I guess Roman numeral 5, right? It's like your fifth release now.
Yeah,
It has to be frustrating, like because I know as soon as you get like a good record out, you want to hit the road and you want to bring it to the people and stuff like that. I had a chance to hear the record and it's outstanding, man. Really great effort on you guys' part.
oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, you guys had like
Yeah,
a really like stern sound out of that. Like who did you work with in the studio to get that sound?
we did it with Mark Lewis. Mark Lewis has
Okay.
done stuff with CSI and Cannibal Corpse, Black Dahlia Murder. He's done some work with like Trivium, Chimera. He's worked with a bunch of bands.
Right, right. He has definitely a good reputation. Tell us a little bit about Five, what I like to call conscious music that you guys write.
Well, musically, we wanted to do something a little more dynamic than what we've done in the past, and a lot of the string instruments on this record are not playing the same pieces of music together. We're often playing all different stuff, kind of like weaving our parts together to create like a dense piece of music. And lyrically, there's some lyrics that probably won't surprise people. There's some pretty anti-political activist uh, things going on that's pretty normal for us, but there's also some lyrics about the psychedelic experience, and we touch on some other stuff as well that's a little outside of the norm for for us.
How important to you is it to like include a message, like a social political message, or just like kind of like a conscious message in your music?
Well, it doesn't always have to be there, but I try to often sing about things that are much bigger than myself. Try to sing about things that are transcendent and are important to a lot of people, not just to me.
Mean, with any music, really, I guess going back to like punk rock and stuff like that, I think having a political message or anti-political message, just like I think it's pretty important, man. It's you got like bands like Megadeth always like kind of putting it out there. Just I think it's definitely important, especially with what Havoc does, to kind of continue on that tradition, of music that just makes people think. I think ever
Yeah,
since like junior high school days, like I was hearing stuff and I was like, wow, my mind is open now. My eyes are open.
yeah, it's good when art can do that, and I don't think it always has to, but I think it's good when it does. Obviously, art is kind of an escape from real life, so to always hear about, you know, the bad things in the world isn't really always a good thing. So I don't think that every artist should be doing that because people like having the escape and talking about fantasy land and you know uh, just
Rainbows and
nonsense.
unicorns and shit.
Yeah, and we need that stuff too. So I don't
Yeah.
think every band needs to be trying to get a political message out there, but I think art is capable of changing the world.
Given the time that you guys have been together as a band, how much I guess how would you describe the change that you've seen, like since when you first started out? Of what, 15 years later, you guys have been around, right?
Um, well, I think that more people go to shows today than used to.
Hmm.
Maybe that's because there's I'm not exactly sure why that is, but I feel like people go to shows more than they used to. Maybe it's just because there's more people in the world today, or maybe it's because people have more access to different bands, so they want to go see more bands play. I'm not quite sure, but I think that's one thing that's different for today versus back when I was a teenager. And I'm not
Yeah, like,
complaining. That's a great thing.
oh yeah, yeah, it's great for business, yeah. Especially the metal scene, like a lot of great metal bands and albums are coming out, and I think people are gravitating towards that. And you said you guys were going to be on the road with Haybreed. Was that going to be like a coast to coast tour, or like East Coast or West Coast?
It was just a couple weeks. It was kind of just from the East Coast to the Midwest. It's hard to
Hmm.
cover the entire country in 2 weeks. Doable, but it's not easy. Um,
Hmm.
and then we were going to be going out and doing some more shows uh, for another month after that, and that's all canceled. So I don't I don't know when we're going to be able to get back out. Everything's up in the air right now, so um, all we can do is like cross our fingers and hope that this blows over sooner than later.
Yeah, like this talk of like no shows until next year sometime, which is going to be a really bummer. I mean, not just as a musician, but I mean fans too. I mean, it's just like, oh man,
Of
you can
course,
only stay
yeah,
home so you can only stay home for so long before you need to get out into a concert and do something, man. Like that escape, and concerts are definitely that, man. So fuck, it's frustrating, man. But
yeah. I mean,
let's.
that's one of the only times I ever get out of the house. Honestly, I'm kind of a hermit, but I love going to concerts, and now there's none of those.
This, I don't know. This will pass hopefully. But what was your influences that made you become like an artist, a thrash metal band, or like what put you in that position and said, hey, I think I want to do that.
When I was super young, I saw Metallica live shit, Binge and Purge, and that made me want to pick up a guitar because I watched that and not only was thoroughly entertained and thought it was awesome, but it made me go like, man, that looks like a lot of fun. I need to learn how to do that. So I started learning how to play guitar.
What were like some of the major concerts that you remember growing up, like when you realized, okay, this is what I want to do. Let me go to a concert and like let me see what it's all about.
The first metal show I ever went to was Scorpions with White Snake
Nice.
and Dawkins.
Oh, dude, hell yeah, it's killer.
I don't remember what my second show was, but I saw a ton of shows after that. But that was like my first metal show, Scorpions.
And are you still into like that, like kind of glam, kind of like rock kind of bands like
I
that? Because I mean,
I love Scorpions.
oh, nice.
Always will. I just saw them a few years ago. It was their 50th anniversary tour, and they still destroyed. They're
Nice.
amazing. Amazing that they can still do it at their age and still pull off the vocals, especially. There's a lot of pretty ridiculous vocals in that band, and Klaus Meine can still sing his ass off.
Klaus, Klaus Mine, man, his voice is one of a kind, man. Scorpions.
Yeah,
Awesome,
so
awesome.
good.
So who else are bands that you look to for influence that you looked up to?
Obviously, all the big four are
Hmm.
influential, but I take a lot of influence from a lot of metal bands, but my influences vary quite a bit, and I think that's a big reason that our band doesn't sound exactly like all other metal bands. Take a lot of influence from a lot of like 70s prog rock and like fusion jazz, funk, and classical
Oh,
music.
nice.
and I listen to a lot of different kinds of music, and that stuff kind of finds its way into our sound. I think that's a big reason that we don't, just sound like we're, um, just worshiping thrash bands from back in the day. We throw in a lot of different flavors. It's from listening to music that's not metal.
It really helps the songwriting process, right? Like kind of branch
Yeah,
out a little bit.
yeah, you get different ideas. Definitely
Very good.
inspiration from weirder places.
How's everything working with the band? Is like, you've had a pretty steady lineup since say what, like 2011 or something, since like Time Was Up. I mean, you guys pretty tight.
Yeah, me, Pete, and Reese, the drummer and other guitar player, we've all been in the band uh, since 2010.
Okay.
We just have a revolving door of bass players, and I couldn't tell you why, but we can't seem to hold on to a bass player. If we could hold on to a bass player for longer than 3 years, that would be amazing. Um, but yeah, we the three of us all are pretty on the same page and work well together, and I don't think we would be able to stay together for 10 years if things didn't work out relatively smoothly. So
Mhm.
it's just been a challenge for us to find a fourth person that we can gel with for a long time. But
Right.
time will tell. No telling what will happen at this point.
And do you guys share the songwriting responsibilities, or is it like you that goes in there with these ideas, or how does that go about?
This last record was the most collaborative for sure that we've ever done. Um, Reese pretty much wrote all of the songs, Phantom Force, that's on the record. But a lot of the other songs, like the structures and arrangements and stuff, I do a lot of that work. Um, Everyone contributes like riffs and parts and ideas and stuff. Typically, I start figuring out the puzzle of like which pieces go together. It's not all me, but I do a lot of it.
Safe to say, like you guys are so comfortable working together, like it kind of just flows, right? I mean, there's probably like a lot less conflict, and you just kind of once you get to the studio, and it turns out pretty much what you want it to be, right?
Yeah, we try to get everything figured out before we go into a studio and hit record. Good to have everything
Mhm.
kind of already in its place, and we know how we're gonna throw this song together. Um, like going into the studio unprepared. So when we did get into studio, I'd say we had about 99% of the music all figured out. Didn't did not yet have like lyrics and vocals for everything, but the music
Oh
was
wow.
99% ready to rock when we entered the studio. We pretty much knew how we were going to execute all the stuff.
That's it's pretty interesting. Like the lyrics, like the last thing to like the final piece and stuff like that. But I had a chance to listen to the album, and I'm looking at the track listing. Some of these titles are awesome. You got Post Truth Era, Fear Campaign. Pretty much made a soundtrack for like what's going on today, right? Like without even knowing it.
Yeah, yeah. I knew it was going to be I knew it was going to be relevant, but I didn't know it was going to be this relevant. So it kind of stinks to be that prophetic, I guess. I don't want to be right about stuff like that, but it turns out I was.
How can you like avoid it? You know what I mean? It's just you get the influence from what you see, and I like how you have these little tidbits, these little snippets of like, oh, this is the news. This is what we want you to believe, and it adds to your live shows. You don't just get up there and you just go through the motions. You guys have like kind of an extra character to the music, and that's pretty cool. It's a little dynamic that I think is pretty, people should appreciate.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of important messages on the record that people should listen to and hopefully stew over those ideas for a little while. Hopefully the lyrics aren't just in one ear and out the other.
You have a lot of people that, for some reason or another, I don't understand. Like they don't want a political message in their music, and I'm like,
There's
growing up,
definitely
this is
people that like that, yeah. But I think a lot of people, especially people that come to our shows and stuff, really appreciate the lyrics and what we're talking about in our music. A lot of people that, at least that come up and talk to me, agree with the message and like where our head is when it comes to that stuff. Because we're definitely not political. We're not trying to push one side or the other or try to make you
right.
vote a certain way. We're basically just calling out the whole thing as bullshit. And
Right. I agree.
and that's, yeah, in my opinion, that's, we're not political. I'd say we're anti-political.
Yeah.
We're calling out the whole system. We're not saying, hey, one side is right and you need to think like this.
No, it's your message. I think is definitely important, man. Like it's. I mean, if I could speak freely, it's just like it's a whole us versus them mentality, and those of us that are open-minded enough, need to like band together and not be divided. And I think music definitely like brings people together, man. Especially with music with the message. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of.
Art can change the world.
Again, we are here speaking to David Sanchez, guitarist and vocalist of Havok. Their new album, 5, has just been released. You, Denver, Colorado, am I right? Is that where you guys are from?
Yep.
Yeah. What kind of scene was going on over there when you were growing up?
I used to go to shows, like DIY shows at warehouses and like punk rock houses and stuff like that. And I don't know. I used to go to shows when I was like 15, 16, and there'd be kids drinking, 13-year-old kids getting all drunk. I didn't ever drink, but I used to go to shows like that, and there'd be, like touring bands coming through that were, in a van, grindcore bands and death metal bands and punk rock bands and hardcore bands, and I would go to all these shows when I was in high school because it was something to do. I'd go see bands I've never heard of, and I just, and also those shows weren't super expensive. The shows at the big theaters and stuff cost a lot of money. But these ones that are like at a warehouse and there's some touring band that's just trying to play in front of some people, those are fun to go to. And that fucking really helped open my eyes when I was young, before I was even in a band. It kind of showed me like what was possible and like showed me how grimy tour life could be. So when we did start touring and stuff and things would go wrong or not be ideal, or we'd have to play some total dive, like it didn't really bother me that much because I go to shows like that. I know that the people that are actually there are really enjoying it and are happy to be there. So like the fact that you're playing in someone's basement isn't a bad thing. If there's 25 people down there to watch you and have a good time, they're loving it. And those are probably 25 people that'll come see you when you play in a real music venue, or half of them will. So it gave me kind of like a DIY punk rock perspective. Like when I was super early on in the band, I guess it made me appreciate good things more and gave me a perspective that, like, yeah, we don't always have to play in a theater, and we don't always have to be play in a place that has a liquor license and a stage and a good sound system and a lighting system.
It certainly helps, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But early on, it made me aware, like, oh, it's possible, like, go on tour and play like people's houses, stuff like that.
And sometimes those DIY shows are some of the most memorable shows that you ever check out. You know, whether a fan or you play, it's quite an
Yeah, for
experience.
sure. I remember distinctly one show we played in St. Louis way back in the day, and we played, and I remember people were punching the ceiling of the basement out. It was one of those like floating
Whoa!
floating tile ceilings, and yeah, people just destroyed the ceiling in that basement.
Oh man!
Yeah, it was
There
fun.
goes your deposit. Shit, dude. So now, do you still go to shows now? Like, how's the scene now in your hometown as far as concerts go?
Well, bands are always really stoked to play Denver. Whenever we're on tour with other bands,
Yeah.
and when Denver is coming up, everyone's really excited because it's normally a good show. We have a really good metal scene here. Um,
Nice.
there hasn't been any shows in a couple months though because of this
Right.
virus. Uh, there's nothing going on. All the venues are closed. All tours are canceled. There's
Yeah.
there's no concerts at the moment. But
Yeah.
when things are normal, Denver's got a great scene, and typically, like, you can go see a concert literally every day of the week at some venue
Hmm.
in town. Might not always be a metal show, but yeah, we have concerts literally every day in multiple
Nice.
places. There's a lot of music happening here.
You haven't gotten any word of any clubs closing down because of this bullshit?
Permanently, no, but I know
Hmm.
that all the clubs are closed down at the moment
Yeah.
temporarily, but I haven't heard of any shutting their doors permanently from this. Hopefully, none do, but I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I
Right.
think it's likely that something's gonna get shut down forever because of this.
Yeah. I've kind of worried about, like, I think a club in San Francisco and San Diego that I think were affected and are permanently closing their doors. So like that's just like, ugh, a really a blow to, like, the music scene in general. You know, it's just sad. What are some of the venues out there in Denver?
Uh, my favorite is the Gothic Theater, but we also have Red Rocks Amphitheater out here. That's like the coolest music venue in the world. The outdoor music
That's
venue that's
the outdoor
in,
one. Yeah. Right.
yeah, it's like in a mountain, kind of.
Oh yeah.
The
Yeah.
walls of
I've
the
seen, like,
venue are giant monolithic rocks. It's really cool.
to people listening, like, if you've never seen a concert at the Red Rocks, I mean, I've never been there in person, but, like, you know, there's like a lot of concerts on video. I mean,
Yeah,
YouTube the damn thing, and it's just an amazing sight, right? Like, so badass.
yeah, it's super cool. It's only like 10 minutes from my house. That's a great place
Oh,
to see
sweet.
a show.
Nice, nice. So, again, we're talking to David Sanchez here of Colorado Thrashers Havok. They today, happy Havok Day, because the release is out today, right?
Yes,
Album.
drops today, May Day.
Yeah, album number 5, through, I believe, Century Media Records, if I'm not mistaken. So if you're listening, make sure to grab that. Go online and go to Century Media, go to their websites, and make sure you purchase that. And just let's touch real quick on the whole quarantine and self isolation thing. How are you guys doing? Are you in contact with the band? Are you guys in communication now with the release out?
Yeah, we've got like a group uh, message thread that we all keep in touch. So, um, that's about the best we can do. The only other guy that lives in Colorado is Pete, the drummer. But other than that, the
Okay.
other guys live in Nashville and Virginia. So people
Hmm.
are very far away. We don't see them very often.
Nashville is another place I heard has like an amazing music scene too. I don't know if you've heard that.
Yeah, they have a ton of music venues, ton of great musicians, ton of really great studios.
What would you say? What kind of advice would you give people right now, like whether a musician or just a music fan in general?
Obviously, try to stay healthy and
Hmm.
maybe start writing down some ideas and goals and maybe get a game plan together for when stuff does open back up. You can kind of start knocking out a life to-do list and make yourself set up for better things. There's, you know, we got time to plan right now, so maybe that would be a good way to do it.
So that's some good advice. You know, it's good to like look towards the future and be ready when the doors open. When the
Exactly. Yeah,
concerts,
have all your stuff ready to go as soon as the you hear the start bell.
when once that green light says go, fucking go, hit it, man. And same
Exactly.
with you guys. Same with you guys. I know you guys have that frustration building up inside of you to get back on stage, and you know us fans alike are looking forward to catching you guys as soon as this shit's over, and especially with this outstanding release. You know, great job. If you want to give your final thoughts on the album, go ahead. I'll let you talk about it.
Well, we were saying, V comes out today. They call it V or Five. I don't know if you're from Rome, but buy it, stream it, share it with your friends if you like what you hear, and yeah, we thank everybody for the support and giving us a listen. It means a lot to us and makes a huge difference for us, especially in this first week of release. So if you dig it, please do share it around because making waves in the charts still means something today, even though it's not what it used to be. I saw that just the other day. The Black Dahlia Murder posted up that they were number 4 on Billboard charts. They were higher up on the
Nice.
chart than The Weeknd. And they were in company of like Billie Eilish and stuff like that. It's pretty crazy for a death metal band.
Good, man. Like that
But
helps. I
yeah,
think the whole music scene as a whole, get eyes on people to like look towards metal music in general, man. We're not gonna go away.
yeah. So
We're not
so
gonna go
first
away.
week first week matters, and yeah,
Mhm.
if you dig what you hear, please share it with people and encourage your friends and family to listen to it. And you know, hopefully you'll have the time to hear it and have an open mind to listen to the lyrics and take them in.
Totally, man. And great music and great lyrics all around, dude. So we'll be posting a review on it on knec.com, so look out for that. Again, this is Francisco with knec.com. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at metalxcandy. David Sanchez with Havok. 5 is out today. Make sure you pick that up in whatever way possible. And I want to thank David for your time, man. And you guys stay safe out there. Give my regards to the rest of the band and Century Media, and keep on thrashing, bro.
Oh yeah, we'll do. Thanks a lot for taking the time with me.
Hey, my pleasure. Cheers.
Cheers.